So let's talk about this match. More modern times here, Super Brawl. You sort of laid out that maybe the Nasties were upset with Max Payne. Does they go back through the curtain and it's a shouting match?
No, she probably should have been, because I know that Sags felt like it might have been intentional. And they ribbed Max because Max was a big, good-hearted guy, and the Nasties were ribbers. You know, I mean, they took it well, and, you know, I mean, Sags got as good as he, Knobs was more of the verbal ripper. He got it as good as he gave it, and he enjoyed being in that role. I mean, one of the things I wrote about in my book, the Tower New York Times #1 bestseller, Have a Nice Day, is that we take the test, you know, for testing for drug test, and Knobs, who was probably surprised that the plastic cup didn't melt when his urine hit it, ends up testing positive, and he goes, "Oh, okay, what'd you get me for?" And the guy goes, "Anabolic steroids." And Knobs just says right in front of the doctor, "Steroids? Steroids?" And he takes off his shirt, and like, you know, Arn Anderson says he got the physiological makeup of a jellyfish. He goes, "Does it look like I'm on steroids?" And the doctor takes his pen and writes, "Obviously there's been some type of mistake."
The Nasty Boys always strike me as a type, and I know they had their issues with Scott Hall when you weren't there and all that, but they always strike me as like old school guys where even if you did maybe take a liberty or something didn't go right, they're just going to stick their hand out and say, "Good match," and ... I'll catch you down the road. They
came up through that AWA system, you know, which was that incredibly taxing training regimen, and so they went through it. I mean, I remember coming and doing my event, and while on one hand I never should have told the Nasties to come and be my guests, because I didn't, you know, they kind of went into business on their own, and they gave a very interesting talk that would have been a great talk if it was an evening with the Nasty Boys. And I had Kane there as my guest too, and neither one of us got to talk for about 25 minutes, but Sags and Knobs did take me and all the people in attendance through the rigors they had to endure. And they said it was Matt Millen. There was some connection with Matt Millen, the great football player. And Matt Millen was on the phone, whether it was with Vern or whoever the trainer was, Brad Rengens, whoever it was, and he was asking, and they said they saw his eyes like just going real wide. And Matt put down the phone. He said, "You guys have to get in shape," like talking about getting in shape before they ever got there. So I think they trained for a year or so just to endure what they had to endure with the AWA. I had no idea. They come out, they just looked like a couple of brawlers, you know. They had that, what I think Meltzer called a strange charisma, you know, and they had good matches. They were good characters. I mean, they had a great, whether it was a one-year run in WWE, they were great in WWE, right?
Yes.
And they had good matches throughout their time in WCW. The story about Dave Schultz is, he is the, I don't think it's hyperbole to say, the most infamous enforcer of all time, or at least at that point he was. The Broadway Bullies are just legendary in Philadelphia. Dave Schultz he's coaching a minor league hockey team, I think, in the area. But this is a big deal to have this guy as your enforcer. He's somebody who really means something, especially in Philadelphia. And so I can see him, he's out of his element. He doesn't feel completely comfortable, and he goes over to, I think it's Sags, who he's supposed to hit, you know, leading into the finish. And he says, "Maybe you guys can show me how to throw one of your punches." And Sags kind of looks and he goes, "Nah, just hit me as hard as you can." And he goes, "If I hit you as hard as it can, I'm going to hurt you." And he goes, "Like I said, hit me as hard as you can." And I said, "Mr. Schultz," and he said, "Yes." I said, "You are a legend here. We would not want to do anything that makes you look bad in front of this audience." I said, "We're going to be out there pretty much swinging away, and so you need to do the same." And at that point, Schultz's his nervousness ends. I believe he enjoys a beer or two. He enjoys talking with us, and now when that moment comes down and he has to go to work on SAGs, it is clear that he has fully grasped the lesson and taken out maybe above and beyond. He pulls, they always had the shirts, right? Like, we were all cover up aficionados, right? We all believe in the art of the cover up. So he pulls that shirt over Sags' head, and I mean, brother, when he's coming in with the uppercuts, he's hitting him with everything he has. He knocks him goofy. And now I think there's whatever move ends it after that comes in rapid succession. But it's Schultz just throwing haymakers and connecting, knocking Sags goofy at his own request. And it's like, oh, I'm so proud to be part of this business,
Oh my gosh.
And now I don't know if we're going to revisit this match at another time. But there's my only gold that I had on that, in WCW was that tag team gold.
Yeah.
My dad was at the match. A couple of my friends were at the match. Philadelphia, not too far from Long Island. And I remember Bischoff saying, that's the Mick Foley I want to see, or that's the Cactus Jack I want to see. Because I had been down, I had been down. And as we'll probably talk about, I was thinking I was going to get surgery to repair the lost ear, and then I got called back into action, or asked if I would go back into action, and Kevin and I had that great match with the Nasties, and it was one for the ages, trying to live up to what we did at Spring Stampede.
Yeah.
So,
man.
and we will. There's a lot to live up to, as you and I guess we're going to talk about.
The Nasty Boys, though, such a guilty pleasure of mine. I love this match.
And you know what? They love the fact, I don't think I ever see them when they don't quote the book, where they say the Nasties were sloppy and dangerous, but they knew how to brawl. Like they were the guys who would hit you in the rib. They might catch you in the ribs, instead of the stomach. I guess anything that I probably owe Knobs an apology to this day for the fact that I took a fan's soda bottle, not about a big 32-ounce soft drink or beer, and I think I'm throwing beer in Knobs' face, and the guy goes, no. I thought, come on, dude, it's only beer. You can order another one. And I'm in mid-fling when I see this brown liquid en route, and it's chewing tobacco. And it's like, Knobs looks like the recipient of the worst money shot in the history of adult film if the money shot was brown in color. It's just... It looks like a snowman that's melting,
Oh.
And so to this day, sorry, my bad on that one.
Wow, that's gross.